Now I'm going to start making the details of the eyes. It's really important that you get the eyeball the right size compared to the rest of the face and compared to the eye socket. The eyeball itself, it's smaller than the nose. You can see it there. It is maybe about the width of the bridge of the nose. When I stick it in the socket, there is room around the hole outside. I can roll that eyeball around there. If you make a really big one that plugs that hole, you won't have room for your eyelids. Yeah, remember that I went over the socket is much bigger than the ball itself. I can stick a pencil in easily around the whole outside of that. Do the pencil test and make sure your eyeball is the right size. I can't really get the pencil in. Yeah, it kind of goes, but not right in underneath it. With the right size in there, it goes right down under. If it's too small, it's just not going to fill enough of that eye socket. Size and nice and round. I'm going to make an eyelid. My first step is just taking a piece of clay and rolling it into a little coil. The length of that coil, it's going to go from the inside of the socket to the outside of the socket. The thickness of that coil is about half the thickness of the eyeball, about half of it. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to curve it so we have a frown. Next step is I'm going to put my fingers over it and squish it down. This is what I call a crescent moon shape. So hangs in the sky like that. It is thin this way, thick in the middle, skinny at the tips. It could also be described as kind of a banana shape. I take that banana or crescent moon shape and I kind of curve it over my finger. Yeah, it's curved down there. This is about the same as being curved over the eyeball because that's what I'm going to do. I take it, I tilt the top of it back so it's not flat. It's going down like that. And I curve it over the eyeball. It's very important that the ends right here and here come to the midpoint on the eyeball. This is the tear duct and this is the corner of the outside. If it's too short and it's way up here, you're not going to have a tear duct. Make sure it comes halfway down. And then I'm going to take the pencil, I'm going to kind of gently hold the eyeball, start down here and kind of roll the lid onto the eye. When I need to get in this corner, I'm turning it sideways so my hand will kind of fit right there. This part back here is going to get smeared right into the eye socket. So if you can see from the side angle, it's a little hard for the camera to pick it up, but the edge of the eyelid is right here coming over the eyeball. Now I'm going to do a smaller lid for the bottom. So again, I take my piece of clay, I make a little coil, the length of the eye socket, bend it, squish it, crescent moon, curve it, put the bottom here, down in the bottom of the eye socket. That's why it was so important to make that eye socket nice and large. And then I carefully bring it up, making sure the corners meet right in the center of the eye. Blend it down with my pencil. And try to create the actual shape of an eye. Notice I'm not doing this with my finger. My finger's going to smash it all away. Also, please notice that right here, this edge, I am not making it thin. I haven't really touched that edge except for one time when I came over here because it was a little bit lumpy. I want this to stay thick. If you smear it too much, you're going to lose it. It'll just blend in with the eyeball. Now I'm going to take a little bit of really wet clay and just kind of put it in here and smooth out so I don't have so much of a dip, but I still do want some. You can see with the camera that this dip right here is too deep and that one's a little bit too deep. So how I'm going to fix that is nice mushy clay. It's got a sheen to it and it's kind of sticky. And I'm going to just roll a little coil, really tiny, tiny. You can always add more, but it's hard to take away. So this is smaller than the coil I did for the original eyelid. And I'm going to stick it in there. Oops, it's a little too big still. I want it to fill a little bit of the dent, but I don't want to get rid of it. Okay, and now because it's so soft, it's just going to blend right in there. Smoothing here with the pencil. It was too scratchy, so I went and got a little tool that's smaller than my finger that fit in there perfectly. I use my finger where I can, but if I can't do it, I don't force it. I use something else. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing to fix the dent under the eye and the scratchiness. There. Kind of roll it with my pencil. Again, I'm going to remind you, don't mess with the edge here and here. You want that to stay somewhat thick so you can see it. There is an indentation under the eyeball, and then the cheek sticks out here. Just use your brain and figure out how you can get into all those little spots. For my last little bit of smoothing, I just squirt it with a little bit of water and kind of let the water smooth it. And that usually does enough to take the last little scratches out. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll show you how to do the pupil and the iris. As you're making the face, you may find that you accidentally push something in too far. And if that happens, just use your judgment and build it back up. I pushed in a little too far and lost the brow bone here. So I'm going to put a little water on there, or you could add slip. I'm going to take some moist clay and just put a little piece here. Blend it. And the eyebrow's back. So don't worry too much, just fix anything that goes wrong. Cheek down here got squished a little too much. Add a little slip. Wet clay. Put it on there. And build the cheek back up. For the pupil and the iris, what I do is I first will use my pencil and I'll poke the pupil right in. Maybe a little bigger than that. Remember, the pupil ends up about 1/3 of the size of the iris. And now I use a really sharp pencil and I'm going to draw the iris around. About the same distance out as the width of the pupil. And remember, it's circular, but some of that circle may be hidden by the eyelid. So if the circle should continue here, I'm not going to draw it under the eyelid. I'm just going to let it stop at the edge and then take it back up where I can actually see it. And then I'll do the other one.